good people? Welcome to another edition of Whipping in the Kitchen. What we doing today? You know what it is. We out here on the barbecue. We doing ribs today, so let's get it. These chimney starters are real easy to start. You stuff the bottom full of newspaper, loosely fit newspaper. Fill up the basket here with the desired amount of charcoal, and then just light her up at the bottom. That oxygen gets in there, and next thing you know, that fire will be blazing, and these charcoals will ignite and start to ash over, and that's what we want. We doing ribs today. The ribs are kind of my specialty. Anytime my kids had a birthday party or a family function, it's been a favorite. It's what they request, and so we're gonna show you how to do tender, juicy, flavorful, smoky ribs. Okay, and I'm using just charcoal briquettes here. Spreading these around, give myself a nice, enough charcoal to fuel the cook for the entire cook. Again, the lit coals will ignite these unlit coals as they start to progress and the fire continues to burn, and this will give me all the fuel I need for the entire cook. And so that's how it looks, right? You got the unlit chunks of wood buried underneath the charcoal. Those will ignite as the charcoal starts to ignite, giving you nice, all that smoke flavor. We'll start rolling that smoke and getting that going. So let's go inside and see what we do about our meat prep. But we're doing spare ribs today. All right. So what I do is cut this cryovac open, and let's get them prepared. And I'm putting them in my sink here because I am going to wash them and then get them seasoned up while that charcoal is coming on. All right. This here. All right. Okay. Let's get these bad boys washed up. Washing the meat on both sides. So I'm washing meat. Next thing I do is towel dry it off. So we're working with as dry surface as possible. Just get as much as you can off. And then we'll trim it. Pull the membrane off, which is very important. Some people, there's a big debate on membrane on, membrane off. I'm a membrane off kind of guy. That membrane is, when you cook it, can be very thick and almost like a papery, hard papery substance that would be hard for the seasonings and the smoke and everything else to penetrate. People have different opinions on that, you know, but for me, I pull the membrane off. It's nice and easy and allows some of that fat to render and those seasonings to stick, and we kind of go from there. So how do you pull the membrane off? This is the membrane. See this kind of thick white membrane over here? You just try to grab a corner you can with a paper towel, and you grab it. The paper towel so you can get a good grip on it, and then it should come off fairly easy. Sometimes in one good pull you can tear most of it off. Boom. Yeah, that's not good eating right there. We don't want that. Now let's start looking at whether we need to trim some things off here. What's not going to cook evenly? You want these ribs to be aerodynamic on the cooker. You don't want extra hanging pieces that are going to burn on you. Not going to be good. You can trim off some of this extra fat if you want. On the back side, all that's going to do is just render off anyway and drip into the smoker. So again, we're taking some of that off. There we go. All right. Now we're going to take them to the cutting board, square them up, and make sure we don't have any little hanging chads, hanging pieces of fat or meat, and then we're good. All right. so now we just kind of trim some of these bad boys up. I like to square off this end. And again, seems like it's a lot of meat, but once you get past that last bone, it's not the greatest eating. The reason they call it St. Louis ribs is because they're removing the rib breastbone up top. And so they come kind of squared off, but then again, I like to just trim a little bit just so everything's nice and even, you know, get any extra fat that I don't need, get that out the way. Okay, that one's done. Let's swap these bad boys out. Put this on the bottom. Again, they don't take much at all, you know. Again, we're just squaring this bad boy off. And you don't have to do this, it's just how I do it, okay? You're focused on maximizing meat, then you go from there. Again, this is pretty simple. That's good. We're good to go. All done. All right. Yeah, that's all gristle there. Let's just get that gristle. Get rid of that gristle. Get on out of here, gristle. All right, we're all done. And then the last step of the process is we're gonna use a little French's mustard, slather these bad boys up, and then hit it with the rub, and we good. We Gucci, baby. All right, so I put the ribs on the cutting board to show you guys how I trim it. I usually do all that in the sink, but for just to demonstrate how I do that, that's why I did that. This is French's mustard. Put, you know, a liberal amount of French's mustard here, just to coat the ribs, you know, one hand clean. So my right will be my clean hand. I wash my hands in between. Obviously, when you're dealing with meat, you want to make sure you're sanitary. Some people choose to wear gloves. I like the feel of feeling the meat with my hands, to be quite honest. And I just am extra vigilant about washing my hands. So, all right. So, see, we got the slather on here. All that does is help the rub stick to the meat, okay? And so we're gonna do a liberal sprinkling here. Use your favorite rub. So I wanted to give you guys just a quick rundown of the products I usually use when I'm making my ribs. I typically use TexasBBQRub.com, and it's just TexasBBQRub.com. They're grand champion, very pepper forward, nice brown sugar, good content there. I typically use that when I'm making ribs, but today I went a little bit different. I used Kosmos Q, the Honey Killer Bee. I just wanted to try this out. I just got some of his rubs and sauces and wing dust and stuff like that, and got good results, good flavor earlier. Slap Your Daddy Barbecue, Mr. Harry Sue, one of my favorite contenders. You might know him from TV, and he's a world grand pit master, everything. But this all-purpose rub is good on anything, you know, and so I use that when I'm grilling chicken, beef, anything. Gives it a nice flavor. My favorite barbecue sauce in the world, in the entire world, is Old Mule BBQ. The folks at Old Mule BBQ, Steve and Cheryl Modeling, I order from them all the time. This last time they wrote a little note, hey, thanks for ordering, stay safe and healthy. Put that on a little cardboard box. Shipped very professionally. You would never get any cracked bottles or anything else. They use real glass, you know, kind of mason jar style. But they sent me these little koozies as well, which I thought was a nice touch. In any case, those are the products that I use when I'm making my ribs. And again, my people love it, and I hope you will too. So again, make sure you got the mustard on everything that you want the rub to stick to. and just do a liberal shaking, okay? And this is the back side of the ribs, right? And so a lot of people, some people skip this step and don't put much rub here. But me, I've always been of the opinion that when you bite a rib, you're biting top and bottom, right? And so you want that bite to be tasty on both sides. And so why not season both sides? That's my thinking behind it. That's the way that works. Yeah. So again, liberally season and then just pat it in, pat it in. Not rubbing, I'm patting it in, right? Last thing you want to do is rub your meat. All right. I'm gonna turn this bad boy over. We're talking barbecue, people. Keep it clean, keep it clean. It's a family show. All right. Let's go back in here with the mustard. And I'm doing this while the coals are being lit. I'm gonna take those lit coals, put them in the Weber Smokey Mountain. Then I'm gonna let that come up to temp, and then I'm gonna throw my ribs on. So that seasoning will have, you know, half hour or so to really get in there. I'm gonna be hitting it with seasoning all throughout the cook, you know, building that flair, those layers of flavor that we like, and we're good. All right, we're gonna pat that in. And don't worry about using the mustard. Again, that burns away. You never taste mustard in the final end product. Never, ever. And I've been doing this for 15, 20 years. You never taste the mustard, but it does help that rub stick to the meat. And when that when that rub mixes with the smoke and everything else, produces a beautiful color while giving you some outstanding, delicious flavors as well. We got our coals here. We're gonna put these lit coals in. You see, we're passing my Kamado Joe. A lot of you were like, why you ain't using Joe to cook them ribs, man? Well, we're doing this Weber Smokey Mountain today. I'll do another video where I cook them on that other cooker. Certainly features and benefits to both. See, I got my coals in here, the hot coals, and all I'm gonna do is just lift this coffee can out and let those coals work their magic. And assemble the rest of the cooker. And we'll wait for it to come up to temp, and then we'll put our ribs on and go from there. So how do you control temperature in the Weber Smokey Mountain cooker? You got a vent up top, and you got 3 vents on the bottom. Right now, we're just getting this thing going. Want to bring it up to temp. All of them are wide open. That's allowing for maximum airflow. You see, we're already starting to come up to temp here. And again, we want to keep it between that 225, 275 range, right around 250 for our cook today. And that should be make for some nice, moist, tender, juicy ribs. And that's it. Okay, and we're back. Did you miss me? What we're gonna make now is what I use to spritz my ribs, keep them moist, give them good color. Ultimately, yeah, moisture and color is what this is really all about. So all I'm gonna use is, you know, 1 part apple cider vinegar to 2 parts apple juice, and I'm just freestyling this, you know. But it gives the hard cider vinegar, the apple cider vinegar gives it a nice acidic bite that ultimately helps with tenderness and that taste. And then you come over the top with the regular apple juice. And what that gives you is a really nice concoction. That apple juice has sugars in it, and ultimately that ends up caramelizing and kind of glazing and basting those ribs. Comes out real tasty at the end. So like I said, I'm freestyling this. Pour a little apple cider vinegar in there, and then we'll come over the top with some treetop apple juice. And what I'm using here is a pressurized spray bottle. I used to use the little Traeger spray bottles, This thing, you know, you pump it up and then you press the button, and you get everything zhuzhed up just how you like it. So that's how we get down with that. Okay, so we're back. And as you can see, the dome lid is at about 200. This is usually a lot lower than what the grate temperature is, and so this is about the time I start to put the meat on. So we'll go ahead and do that. As you can see, we're rolling some smoke right now and getting that going. So let's put these on the grill. All right. So here's one important tip. You want to form these up and make them as compact as you can, because how you put them on the grill is how they're going to cook, right? So what you want to do is get them on here, and I like to bunch those bones up together so that everything, when it comes out, slices the way you want it, and you kind of go from there. So we're gonna get all of them here up top. Put this one in the middle because that one is a little longer than the rest. We'll bunch that up. Bunch these up here on the side. And this will cook down, right? But we want them to cook how we want them. Try to get some separation if you can. Let that smoke get in between the meats. Circulate and bathe those meats. Now we're going on. And also what I'm gonna do now, start shutting down some of these vents so I can regulate that temperature and keep them right around 250. So I'm gonna just give this a little bit of a adjustment there. We'll see how that does. If I need to crank it down a little bit lower and close more of that out to maintain the temperature I want, I'll do that. You can do that with the other two as well, but I typically, on a cook like this, I just crank that one a quarter turn, half turn or so, and it should remain right about 225, 250 the whole entire cook, and then we're good. So now we just sit back and typically crack a beer or whatever it is you like to drink, and let the cooker do its magic. We smoking, y'all. We out here smoking. And we're back. This is hour number 1. I'm going to check on the progress of the ribs here. I've come out a couple times as the cooker came up to temp. As you can see, it reads 250 now. Let's take a look. I've pumped up my pressurized bottle sprayer here. Let's take a look at what we're working with. Okay. Yep, I see you. Okay. Yeah, they look moist, but let's just add a little bit to this. Make sure we get everything. A little apple juice, apple cider vinegar. Never hurt nobody. Keep that meat nice and moisturized, just how we want it. And that's about all you need. Put this back on and let it keep doing its thing. Yep, we're good. Don't want to lose too much temperature. Get in and get out. Let it come back up, and we're good from there. We're back at hour 2. Just peek real quick and then give them a good spray just in case. Make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and kind of go from there. Let's take a look and see how we coming. Okay. Starting to firm up a little bit. You know, starting to pull back from the bones a little bit. Let's give them a little apple juice and apple cider vinegar, a little bath so they stay moist. Let's get this lid back on. Okay. All right. That's all it takes. Real quick, in and out, and let it keep doing its thing. Again, that's the second time I opened up to look, and all I did was just spray them down. Because if every time you lift the lid off, you're letting precious temperature get out of there and escape, and then the cooker's got to come back up to temperature. The old saying, when you're looking, you ain't cooking. So minimize the looks, and I just once every hour. That's all. This is the last time I'm gonna spray it. Actually, let them go to about 3 hours, and so I'm gonna just get them off right now. Get them in, wrap them up. I'll show y'all how that process works, and we'll go from there. We've been, you know, kind of rolling around about 250. Again, I kind of got caught slipping. Temperature kind of spiked a little bit. You know, it's still within the range that I want. But we're gonna take these ribs off and get that going right now. Put my gloves on so I can start handling this hot meat. Oh yeah. And as you can see how the meat is starting to pull away from the bones a little bit. That'll get a lot more pronounced once I wrap them, but you can see the caramelization on the ends. We'll deal with some of that when we get to it, but let's get them wrapped. Get them in. So I'm gonna grab these up, and what you want to do, it's key that you use heavy duty foil, right? But what you want to do is remove any and all these little loose ends, little things here, anything that could potentially poke through the foil. You don't want to lose all that juice. You want that to remain airtight. So just come through and clean up the bones a little bit. Look for anything. As I said, look for anything that might poke through. So let's look on this side. Again, this bone, I might just take him off because that's just gonna cause a problem. Yeah, these little burnt crispy bits, kind of caramelized. Get those off. All right, so I'm gonna lay down a few pats of butter here. Butter for the unctuousness. I'm gonna put some rub down as well. A little bit on the slab itself. I'm going meat side down. Okay. I'm gonna add a little bit of the juice here into the foil packet. And again, this is just gonna be a little liquid that'll help it steam. You don't need that much. A little bit is all you need. And now, let's wrap it. Okay. Careful not to poke a hole. Again, we're trying to make it a nice little airtight little package here. Okay. Bring this bad boy up here. And when I put them on the grill, they'll be just like this, meat side down. Just like that. Three nice little foil packets of deliciousness. Back out to the smoker. Family show, y'all. Family. All right. So we got them on the grill. Little foil packets of love. Put this lid back on. Let those go for another couple hours. So the temperature kind of spiked a little bit. So I'm gonna shut this damper down a little bit, choke it off a little bit, and hopefully it'll go back down to between 250, 225 and get to the consistent temperature that we want. All right, so we're at the 1.5 hour mark that these things have been wrapped. So I thought I'd pop in and check in with them, see how they're doing. Sometimes when you wrap them, they can get real, if you leave them in there too long, they can get so tender that the bones will fall out, and you know, leave them in there too long, they can get mushy. We don't want that. What we want is, see that bone pull away. So let's see. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. See, look at that. See how those bones are pulled away? You even got meat that have, you know. So these are gonna be super tender, but they're right about. It's about time to take them off, put them back on. So you have to be very careful here. Very careful. Don't want to lose it. All right. What I want to do is take this off. All that good, delicious juiciness. I want that, but I want to carefully lay these back on the grill without losing them. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. And these will tighten back up, so don't fear. I mean, I did have a little temperature spike, and that contributed to this. But they'll tighten back up. Yeah, you gotta be tender. You gotta be tender. Okay, let's see if I can get some of this juice on top and not waste it all on the cement here. Yeah, all that lovely deliciousness. Let that just pour right over. All that tasty unctuousness. And we're gonna leave these on for about another hour. They'll continue to tighten up, be just how we want them, and go from there. But temperature control is key. So let me get this lid back on. All right, I just want to check the progress real quick. See how these are tightening up. Yeah, yeah. Oh, they feel tender. Let me, yeah. That goes in like butter. Yeah, that's what you're checking for, tenderness. So what I'll do is, I'll we just sauce these up and let it glaze on here, form a nice delicious glaze. I'll sauce them up again, but I think I'm gonna run these another half hour or so, 20 minutes to a half hour. Let this beautiful Old Mule BBQ sauce get tacky and glaze up on these beautiful ribs. One little pro tip is you put a little barbecue sauce on the bones, so they get all nice and glistening too. That's just for appearance and aesthetics. And you got some folks out there that like to suck on the bones too, you know, so they get it. And I lost a lot of temperature, so I'm gonna open up all the vents. Make sure that it is wide open. All right, we're at the end of our 3, 2, 1. 3 hours on, 2 hours wrapped, 1 hour back on. We're at the end of that 1 hour. I did glaze them a little bit, as you can see. Get in here, see that barbecue sauce, nice and tacky on there. Yes, that's just good eating. Yeah. So these are fully cooked, fully done. I'm gonna put them in my tray here. get them into the house, and then we'll slice these bad boys up after they've had a little time to rest. All right. So I brought the ribs in off the smoker. I put a little barbecue sauce on them to let them glaze up and get nice and tacky, as you can see here. Nice and tacky and delicious. I can tell you, chef's been taking a couple little bites himself. But put the parchment paper down on the board so I make the cleanup nice and easy. I slice bone down. That's just because I like to know where the bones are pointing. Sometimes with these bones, they can go different ways and you don't really see that. But if you do it bone side up, you can see the grain of the bones. It makes slicing that much easier. But yeah, that's how we gonna do that there. All right. Got a nice little smoke ring here. Let's see what the bite is. Let's see what the bite is. Yeah. Okay. Let's get in here. See how that just pull away from the bone, nice and clean. That's what you want. That's what you want. You can hurt yourself messing with these. Woo! It may not be competition, but if you're trying to impress some friends and family, talking about flavor, smoke, taste, get some. Yeah. So I keep going. What was I saying about sharp ass knives? Okay. How about you put out the goddamn fire with the goddamn water? Onto the cutting board. Back to the house. And I'm out. There ain't no lacking in my motherfucking smack ass.